Here are 5 songwriting tips that I believe would be helpful for any songwriter at any stage of their career, whether you've been releasing music forever and for many, many years, or whether you're just releasing your first song. I believe that these 5 tips would be very helpful because I believe sometimes finding extra tips or new ways to do things has always been helpful and been like, oh, that's a great idea, maybe I should try that. So there's always something to learn. We're going to be talking about 5 ways, 5 songwriting tips. The first songwriting tip is record everything in the sense of voice memos, like demos. Record voice memos, record notes, write everything down. Record everything and write everything down. So whether it be on an actual notebook, like this is one of my many songwriting books. I have a couple others that I've filled over here, throughout the years. These 3 more, there's one up there. Just write everything down because I personally like writing in a notebook because you can go back and reference it later and be like, you can like scroll through it and be like, oh, I forgot about that lyric. That's kind of cool. Be like, oh, I'm going to steal that. It's a little harder to do that on your phone where if you're scrolling through things in notes and having it in random notes, it's a little harder to do. It's doable, especially when you're on the move, but I really like when I'm actually sitting down to songwrite to do it in books. It's also easier to like move things around and see what you had other ideas where like you can write different ideas on top of each other and be like, oh, what about this word? What about that word? As opposed to like, you can't really do that on your phone or on your computer because like, what if you want to change a word? Like you don't have other options, whatever. The second tip is listen to as much music as you can, and then also different styles of music. I found that so many song ideas come from when I'm listening to music and listening to music that I haven't heard before. I'm be like, well, that was a really cool riff, or wow, that was a really cool use of lyrics, or wow, that phrase sparked a whole nother idea of a song in my mind. So it's really easy to become complacent as an artist and as a musician and as a songwriter. So one of the things I've always found is by listening to new music and music that inspires me, or even if I don't really like it, just the idea of like pushing myself as an artist to hear new things, be like, wow, that was really cool. You can always find something cool in music, and I found that it always very often will influence an idea or spark an idea. And it's just, or you could also be from read new books, or watch new movies, or read poetry. Just expose yourself to art, and ideas of art will come into your mind. The next one is talking about tempos and trying new things essentially with your songwriting. Say you have a song and you're kind of stuck. What I would recommend is trying it at a different speed. Try it faster. Does it feel differently? Try it slower. Does it feel differently? Ideas might come through that in the songwriting. Try it on a different instrument, right? Adding all these different instruments or different feels or try it like, maybe starting with a plucking, like a guitar picking thing. Well, maybe try strumming. And just changing the song or the dynamic of the song can influence new lyrical ideas, can influence, oh, you know what? Actually, I think this might actually do better as a bridge instead of a verse. And, it could just change the structure of a song a bit. The next one is actually leaving sections blank. And what I mean by that is, and we'll have a bonus tip in this one actually as I'm speaking about it, but as you're writing, sometimes you're in the flow of things, but you can't get a certain line. You're like, oh shoot, I have 3 lines in the chorus, but this last line or the third line is just, it's not fitting. So what do I do, or what I have learned to do is just sometimes leave it blank and move on. Because sometimes you're in that zone, and by hyper focusing on that one line, you actually get yourself out of the zone, and you can become OCD about it, and then you could have written so much more of the song and gone back and added maybe a day from now, or 2 days from now, or a month from now, that one line, but you got stuck there and never finished anything else, right? A classic example of this is that the very famous example is the song Yesterday by the Beatles. That original lyric, they had a lot of the song, but that first original lyric, they didn't have the yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. That yesterday of the original lyric was scrambled eggs, because they knew that they wanted that melody, that rhythm, but they didn't have the exact word of what they wanted to say, and they had the rest of a bit more of the song. So what they did is just added a filler until they actually figured out what word they wanted. The tip on that, the extra tip that I have is I actually forgot it. I don't remember what it was. I guess it wasn't that important. If it comes up, I'll let you know. That's funny. The 5th and final tip is releasing it. Release as much music as you can. because I found if you hold on to these songs and try to perfect them, you don't end up releasing a lot of music, and you can't really expand as a songwriter if you're working on one song for so long, right? Release as much as you can. You can get feedback from other people by releasing, and working on new songs and releasing new songs. You end up getting more of a feel for like, oh, this song's a different genre. This is how I write in this genre. This is how I write in this genre. Release it. And, in the releasing process, you can, you can learn to mix it yourself or master it yourself, or you can learn to use like the AI things, like for example, the mastering programs out there, the AI programs that are out there. Some of them are great, like DistroKid has one, Lander has one. There's a couple different out there. But then also release it. Get it on Spotify, get it on Apple Music, get it on YouTube, all this stuff. Personally, I've used DistroKid and I highly recommend them. You can actually save 7% in the description below. If you just click the link, and you'll save 7% on the releasing of your first of your songs. What's cool about them is they actually are you can keep 100% of your royalties. Where when I first started in the music industry, that was not the case. Actually, distributors would take a portion of your royalties, which is crazy. But the thing that I think is the best, is that you can release as much music as you want. That's huge. Back in the day, when I first started releasing music, it was you had to pay per song that you released, and that got expensive really quick. And if you released more than one song, it would be considered like an album, and then it'd be like $30 just to release that one song. It's not a ton of money, but that adds up significantly if you want to release, a couple tracks throughout the year. DistroKid, you can release as much as you want. They also, like I said, have that mastering, AI mastering. They have a bunch of other stuff. So check them out. Save 7% if you want. Hopefully songwriting tips were helpful. If you have any tips for others, leave them in the comments below. Sorry I forgot that extra little tidbit of information, but I hope you enjoyed it. God bless and peace out.